What is going on, everyone? My name is Tyler and welcome to the first episode of Off the Draw for the 2015-16 NHL season. This is where we talk about anything relating to the sport of hockey, from trade rumors to trades that actually happen to signings to on-ice play. Happens in the NHL, probably talk about it here. And without further ado, we're going to get right into the video today, and that is going to be about the top 5 free agent signings of the past off season. So we're going to kick things off with an honorable mention over to Johnny Oduya on the Dallas Stars. Oduya signed a 2-year deal worth $3.75 million each season, and he was originally 5th on this list, but he actually got bumped out by one signing yesterday, and he's going to provide pretty good value for the Dallas Stars. I mean, he signed cheaper than Lucas Pisa, which is really good. He's an upgrade over Daly. Daly might actually help the Dallas Stars by him leaving the team. It's really weird because he was alright offensively, but defensively he really struggled. So we'll see how that plays out. And they're a team that didn't have a lot of defense in the Dallas Stars. They really, after like Klingberg and Jordy Ben, they're going to struggle. And they have Goligoski back there too. But after those three guys, they're going to struggle a little bit. So having someone like Oduya come in, he's going to be a huge influence on the team. Hopefully he can pull it through for them and kind of give them that stabilization in the top 4 that they need. And he should give them enough depth to make a pretty good charge at the playoffs this year. And in that tightly packed Central Division, that's going to be an interesting battle all year long. But because of their needs and because of the good contract with very low risk and high reward, that's why Johnny Oduya, it gets an honorable mention. And that's what a lot of these contracts are in the top 5. They're a lot of very good contracts. They have little risk and a lot of reward. Now, we're going to kick things off in the actual top 5 here with number 5, and this one has the biggest risk out of them all, but it also has a fairly big reward, and that is Michael Frolik signing in Calgary. This contract is the most expensive out of all of them, as it is a 5-year deal worth $4.3 million. Now, it's a lot of term to give to a player, especially someone who really hasn't gotten much more taste above like a second line role, but that's what he's going to be playing. He's going to be playing a second line role, and heck, he can play on the third line. He can play in a checking role, and he's also really good. He's decent offensively. He scored, he gets about a point every 2 games. He finishes with about 40 points per season, which is fairly solid. 20 goals, 40 points. Can't really ask for much more from a player who is really good in all ends of the rink at all aspects of the game. So that's why Frolik's going to provide great value for Calgary. He's also signing when he's 27, which means he's going to be entering his prime. And that is actually really key for the contract because, again, a lot of people look at it, they'll say it's a little bit expensive, but Frolik is really good possession-wise, and he's always kind of been a player that makes things happen on the ice, and he chips in himself too. And for a team that needed that kind of possession aspect to it, Calgary definitely got a player that will help them out there, and it'll help them at least try to avoid the regression, because getting him and Dougie Hamilton will definitely help them overall. Coming in at number 4 on the list is Eric Fehr, signing with the Pittsburgh Penguins for a 3-year contract at $2 million. Now, this contract happened because the Pittsburgh Penguins were able to ship Brandon Sutter out to Vancouver in exchange for Nick Bonino. Now, Nick Bonino arguably is a better player than Brandon Sutter already, so that's a great trade for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and then adding in Eric Fehr on top of it is just the icing on the cake. Fehr is going to provide them very good depth. He's going to be a third-line winger for them, and the Pittsburgh Penguins have struggled in forward depth, but this year they have a lot of it now, and it's going to help the team out a lot. It's going to make them just that much tougher to play against, and they're going to be able to kind of maybe recreate that rivalry with the Washington Capitals after you look kind of through the 2 rosters and see just how stacked both of them are. Now, coming in at number 3 for the contracts is one of the ones that I was actually saying that the team should do, and that is the LA Kings signing Christian Ehrhoff to a 1-year deal worth $1.5 million. This is an excellent contract for the LA Kings because the Kings really needed a little bit of depth defensively. They have the Doughties, they have the Muzzins, and after that they have a little bit of a drop off. They have Martinez there still, but they need someone there because they lost Sekera last year, or this year, to the Edmonton Oilers, which, by the way, is a good contract. It's a really good contract, but it doesn't quite crack the top 5. But yeah, so they needed that depth defensively, and that is where where he's going to come in. He's going to put up points for them. He's going to move the puck forward, and LA's going to need that because some of their players are starting to age slowly. I mean, Dustin Brown's declining, and they're going to need someone to move that puck. He'll be really strong on the power play too, and maybe he can kind of put the puck in the back of the net a little bit more for them. So that is why Ehrhoff slots in at number 3. Great signing there at 1 year, $1.5 million. That is probably one of the best of the summer, which is why it ranks number 3. On to signing number 2, the second best signing actually just occurred. And it's with Cody Franson going to the Buffalo Sabres at 2 years and $3.3 million per year. Now this contract is actually $0.6 million, like it's $600,000 cheaper than Lucas Sbisa for each year. Franson, legitimate top 4 defenseman in the NHL. Sbisa, probably a 7th defenseman at best. So it's kind of one of those like little things, fun comparisons that I'll be doing a lot throughout the year. But, you know, Franson is actually a really good signing, and the Buffalo Sabres definitely did need that help defensively. He gets reunited with former Vancouver Giant teammate Evander Kane, and again, Franson played really good. He's not the fastest defender, but he's good at shutting people down, and he's good at on the power play. He has a good shot. He's good at moving the puck, so just is a nice piece for the Buffalo Sabres, who are a young team, and they're actually looking to kind of rebuild really quickly here as they bring in Eichel this year, and they brought in O'Reilly and Evander Kane. They're going to be a scary team this year. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if they made a pretty strong push this year. So that is why Cody Franson comes in, because they got him at 2 years at $3.3 million, which is an absolute bargain. He could have easily gotten 4.5 in my opinion, maybe even 5, because he's actually a pretty solid defender. He is a top 4 defender, and there are a lot of people looking for him. But coming in at number 1, there has to be one contract that rules them all, and this one is it's the best contract by far, and it is Alexander Semin signing in Montreal for 1 year at $1.1 million. Now this contract is just stupid how no other teams offered more, because Alexander Semin's a guy who has scored a lot of goals in the past. People give him the lazy stigma and stuff like that, but the guy plays a pretty solid game of hockey, and he may be snake bitten sometimes, but you know what? He is a really good hockey player. And this makes perfect sense for the Montreal Canadiens too, because they were a team that were weak up front, especially on that right wing side. I mean, after Brendan Gallagher last year, their next best right winger was Dale Weiss. Dale Weiss is not a top 6 forward. Now they have Alexander Semin, they have Zach Cassian, and Brendan Gallagher. Dale Weiss is now the 4th in that depth chart. That's an insane depth, but Alexander Semin, we're talking about a guy who's a prolific goal scorer in the NHL, going to a team that could use a little bit more offense up front, and with a goaltender like Carey Price in net, that's going to be huge for them. I really can't speak to how good that contract is and why a lot of other teams didn't sign it. It's just they're getting a top 6 winger for $1.1 million. Sure, it's only a 1 year contract, but hey, what do you really have to lose there? If worst case scenario you have to send him to the minors, you don't take much of a cap hit, you really don't lose a lot of money. There's literally no risk involved with this contract, and the limit and the potential for it to be successful is sky high. It's an insane contract, and it really is hands down the best free agent signing this summer. So let me know what you guys' thoughts are on the top 5 free agent signings of the summer. Let me know who you think is the best free agent signing this summer. I'm saying hands down it's the Alexander Semin contract, because that is one of the best contracts I've seen signed in the past few years. So without further ado, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. As always, take it easy, and I'll catch you guys on the flop side.